Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome back. We are now proceeding with our next part of the AMM, which is our keynote. I hope you are excited as I am for our keynote topic for this evening, Impact Warrior Excellence, how to master tough times. Impact Warrior Excellence aims at enabling and inspiring project leaders such as yourself to master tough times and to lead yourself and your teams into the digital future. We will discover valuable insight and examples on the 6 main pillars of excellence and impact for their practice. This is always with an extra spice of a warrior mindset. I'm very happy and excited to introduce our speakers for this evening. We have Michelle Chu Wang and Florian T. Hockenriede. Both will inspire and guide us to successfully lead ourselves and our teams through the tough and uncertain future. Michelle is an award-winning keynote speaker and author of 6 books. She is a trusted advisor for global top companies, a master of change projects, and sought-after executive coach. Michelle describes herself as an impact warrior and survival talent. Today, she helps project leaders and executives and entrepreneurs with her experience and expertise to lead themselves and shape their personal and professional change. We also have Florian Hockenriede, who lives and loves effective leadership and impact, and he has been doing it for almost 24 years. He delivers strong impulses and best practices for your leadership and business success. Florian also teaches the success factors of bold digital leadership. He also has successfully guided over 5,000 executives and entrepreneurs worldwide to greater leadership and impact. Our speakers have prepared a very special and engaging keynote for this evening. And with that, I hand the microphone to Michelle and Florian. Thank you very much, and I look forward to learning more about the Impact Warrior Excellence.
Thank you very much for the great introduction, dear Pia, and warm welcome to the audience. Big thank you for the invitation to PMI Switzerland chapter, and it's Michelle and my big pleasure and honor to deliver radical and sometimes surprising impulses to you for the next 60 minutes, where we have Impact Warrior Excellence in the focus.
Hello, everyone. It's my pleasure. It's a big pleasure to be here with you together tonight, and I hope that you enjoy.
Okay, so when we talk about Impact Warrior Excellence, we have one leading question, the center of the whole evening. It's how to master tough times. And we claim that you master tough times by leading yourself and leading others for impact and for excellence. But what does that mean? Well, before we answer the question in detail, we have to look at the scenario and the surroundings in which we, at the moment, deliver our projects, run our companies, and drive our business success. And for that, there's a quite common formula that you all might know. It's the VUCA frame, claiming that we live in a VUCA world. Let's make a quick sharing in the chat. Do you know the term VUCA? Then type a Y or a yes. If not, type a N or a no. Just that I get an idea if this term is quite common or not. Wow, thank you very much for the engagement. And as I see, VUCA is not new to most of you. It stands for the great discovery that we live in a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world. Wow. Well, this is absolutely not new, and it's not a great discovery in my eyes, as I think that thousands of years back then, the Chinese built the Chinese Wall, the Indians built Taj Mahal, the Egyptians built the pyramids, and so on, in a VUCA setting. Definitely the world was volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And they, I guess so, had the same challenges like we have. They faced chaos. They faced fear and doubt at some spots. And at some parts of their projects, they came into a state of firefighting and even worse, into a stuck state. So in my life, I had the same perception, like I just put hypothesis about the Egyptians, the Indians, and the Chinese, as when I started my journey at the army and hit ground there after being in my cozy youthhood and did my high school and then go to the army. I faced chaos, I faced doubt and fear, and I faced a quite uncommon, seemingly complex environment. And there I got trained as an officer and got thrown into cold water at many spots to learn how to face a VUCA world and handle volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous environments. And then I thought, no, now I'm able to do that, got the next promotion, and faced again the same scenario that I had to adapt again into a volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous time. And then this continued every 2 or 3 years over my 12-year period at the army, and later as a leader at Amazon and other companies, and then in the last 5 or 6 years as an executive in consulting, I had the same perception that VUCA is nothing special, VUCA is totally normal, and even when we think we mastered the volatility, complexity, and uncertainty, zack, we face it again in a different setting or after we reach the next level. So when we talk about impact warrior excellence tonight, I want to reframe VUCA for you. And if you take only one thing out of this speech, it could be VUCA in the more positive framing, in a sense of we stands for victory loves preparation. So let's get into a state of readiness, being aware that we won't get volatility away, but we have to handle it. And let's switch the uncertainty with striving to build unfair advantages in our projects, with our teams, with our companies on the market. Unfair advantages in a positive interpretation, in the sense of we cannot be easily substituted. We are clearly positioned and we create significant value add for our target groups, for our stakeholders. And then C stands from turning chaos into clarity. And A, even 3 times, let's be agile, let's be adaptable, and let's be well aligned with a great honorable cause above us, with a North Star that drives us, that drives our crew, that drives our teams in the projects, in the companies, and in the overall setting. Not just in business, but same in life. That's the starter for Impact Warrior Excellence, to be aware of that when we are well prepared, have the right advantages, get into a clarity mode and act agile, then things are not just easier, they are filled with more impact in our best sense.
We have experienced 2 very challenging years in the past, but wasn't it always the case that the cycle of up and downs repeat itself over and over again in the human history? And only so the human history and civilization, culture, and technology have been created. We human beings are by nature problem solver. So issues or problems are only the trigger that we come up with solution and even stronger than before. There is a very old Chinese saying that in chaos arise heroes and heroism. But today, we don't need to kill our enemy and to protect our people, our family from attack. But we should be our own hero and write the history every single day. When it comes to impact, most people or the majority of people are not impactful and productive. At the end of the day, many of them have the feeling that they have been so busy, but haven't done much. And today, business has become a status. If you ask people, how was your day? And they will say, well, I was so busy. And they think if I am important, I must be busy because everyone wants something from me. So if I am busy, so I am. Studies shows that the average employees are only in 50% of their time productive. And the rest of the time they spend for social media, surfing online, and chatting with their colleagues, or even in the coffee kitchen. So being an impact warrior is really, really important, especially for those days. And impact warrior has nothing to do with aggressiveness. It's somebody who remains brave, confident, secure, and very balanced in the every daily battle. At the end of the day, that we are all at war, and mostly with ourselves. So, and being an impact warrior is all about striving to overcome our own shadow and utilize the strengths and core competencies to build the future in our personal and professional excellence.
In this sense, like Michelle already introduced, impact warrior excellence is all about leading ourselves. And Michelle talked about enemy and that we are at war. And in my opinion, the only enemy that we really have to fight when it's about mastering tough times, when it's about getting impact and excellence in business and in any scenario we encounter, it's about staring down the bad wolf inside ourselves and nourishing the positive, energetic, and impactful wolf within ourselves as well. So stare down the bad one, and we all know it, the bad part that gives us the wrong inner dialogue, that gives us the wrong doubt, fear, stress. Face it, stare it down, and on the other hand, get a sense for our positive, energetic inner wolf to nourish it with the right mindset, with the right tool set, the right skill set, to lead ourselves for impact and excellence, and be able to, by our example, also inspire, enable, and lead others for impact excellence. And that's the positive way of warrior spirit that we share here. And the example and the metaphor with the wolves comes from special forces context, where worldwide many special forces in their training already talk about those two wolves that we all got inside. That's where I learned it. And it's a very good trick to face your own enemies inside, get rid of them, and then get the results you want. Yeah, here we see Michelle in action with the claim fire, aim, ready, adjust. Here is not a mix up or mess up of the right order of the words. Here, agility comes into play, being impactful out of the movement. You can make an easy real-life test, go out to this world and ask those consultants and advisors that you know, especially those who put transformation or agility or change on their label, and ask them, excuse me, you're a consultant, right? Could you please describe me and define for me what agility means? And you will be surprised what answers you get, if you get one at all. I like to keep it simple and smart. So for me, agility means get into action mode, be proactive, strive for results, and get results out of your movement. So stay in momentum, keep the initiative, and on your path, adjust in the right manner, always well aligned with your overall targets, and adaptable to whatever encounters yourself. In this sense, when we talk about impact today, impact is not just one of those consulting buzzwords, Impact is something that stands for your result, your targets and objectives, your outcome that you want for yourself, for your team, for your company, for your life. That's why we have the formula here. Y, which is the impact, is a function of several x's. And in the real world, those are many, many, many x's, many factors that influence the impact we get. And as it's always smart to not just strive for results or impact, but to do this in an excellent manner, meaning three things. Excellence is being effective, being efficient, and being elegant at the same time. So do the right things, effective, in the right manner, efficient, while striving for an ideal state where you cannot leave anything out anymore because it's so excellent already. That's elegant. So in this sense, we nailed it down to the vital few factors of true impact. And those are those 6C that we deliver today. Let me give you a short example on that. And let's switch to the whiteboard. Quick checkup in the chat, please. Who of you knows that? Again, please, with Y and yes, if you know it, or N and no if you don't know it. What I talk about is a state of 80-20-0-0 in our projects, in our teams, in our business reality, and sometimes even in life. 80% stand for that we waste 80% of our time, our energy, our resources, our money, our effort on daily firework, on mails, on meetings, on tasks, on ad hoc issues that come into our world and distract us, get us off track, make us stressed, make us fearful. 80% of time, energy, resources, money gets lost with those kind of ad hoc issues. And then the remainder of 20% is spent on the actual daily business, the standard work, our routines, where we create the value for our clients, for our customers, for our stakeholders, which we are originally supposed to. And there's zero time and space and freedom for continuous improvement, for change, for the really strategic projects, and for the important stuff. And there's also 0% left as a buffer to take a breath, to step on the balcony, to recharge, and to the mental strategic mindset work that we as leaders are supposed to do as well, to stay on a high performance track and not have peaks and then crash and burn out. For whom of you does this sound familiar? That we waste a lot of resources and firepower in the wrong fields. I see, first we had several no's and now we have the yeses after I brought some clarity into the model. So that's what the bad, but also the average and good companies are stuck in this state. What do the very good or excellent companies, excellent, meaning effective, efficient, elegant, do different? The world champion companies in the West and in the East, those hidden champions all over the world that rule their one specific niche with excellent value creation worldwide, and so on. All those champion companies, they are in a state of at least they strive for it elegantly, a state of 30, 30, 30, 10. 30% for ad hoc issues, for mails, for tasks, for stress factors, for change of scenario, and suddenly you have to adapt and do a urgent and important task that you didn't expect, 30%. So you won't get that totally gone. On the other hand, when you get down from 80 to 30, you win freedom to act. So you can get up at the standard work from 20 to 30% to not just deliver good is enough, but to create real value, end-to-end value creation in an excellent manner, where the outcome is significantly better with only a slight increase of effort. And finally, here in the area of improvement, where the projects, the change, the continuous Kaizen and so on take place, there we go from 0 to up to 30%. For me, it was a game changer when I started to give my teams 4 to 8 hours per week for continuous improvement, for problem solving, for special projects. And I didn't come up with that. I adapted that from companies like Amazon and Google and other champions, where they seize this huge potential in the minds and hearts of their staff. But you need space for that. And finally, here from 0 to 10, a buffer, which can be flexibly disposed where it's necessary. And how you get from the average and good mode, where good is enough, into the excellent mode, where you reach a state of elegancy in the end. That's the focus of today's speech, because Michelle and I claim we share 2C with you to rock your daily ad hoc and firework mode into a significantly better mode with clarity and with courage. Courage to say no, courage to dump stuff into the trash, and courage to really decide upon what's important and urgent. Another 2C, where it's about collaboration and about consequence to get your standard work from good to great. And another 2C, concentration and combat spirit. Combat spirit not in a military manner. Combat spirit in the sense that you fight for your honorable cause, that you dare to take a significant amount of your resources and you spend it on improvement, on change, on innovation and disruption. So a quite effective, efficient and elegant form of combat spirit. And those are the 6C, what our speech today is about. Let's get started with the first one.
The first C is about clarity. So the clarity about yourself and your goal determine your success. Today we are dealing with a huge amount of information technology. So thank you. So the opportunities are greater than ever, and so as the distractions. It's so difficult to remain clarity. But if you want to be impactful, clarity about yourself and where you want to go is the absolutely first step. So Sun Tzu says, if you know your enemy and know yourself, you will win 100 battles. If you don't know your enemy, but know yourself, you will win 1 battle and lose another. If you don't know yourself and don't know your enemy, you will lose everyone. So if we start business, we do business plan and to analyze the market situation and the potential and setting goals. And if we build houses and cars, we create a drawing. So we analyze the structure and the aerodynamics. But when it comes to us, our future and our career, many of us just start without having a plan, without having a goal, and even without knowing ourselves. So The first step is to know yourself. But how? Let me show you. Ask yourself the following question. Who are you? And where do you want to go? What are your strengths and weaknesses? And what core competencies and resources will bring you to your goal? And where are you standing right now? And where you can get those resources and competencies from. And the second step is to identify your unique niche. Niche is something like an industry, a type of jobs, or a field that you can really live out your genius, and you can work constantly for hours and for days, and without being tired and without being stressed or frustrated. But the question is how to find your niche. Let's switch to the whiteboard. So we have 4 areas. The first one is, what are you passionate about? The second area is, what are you good at? It's like something that has been always easier for you than the others, and you always got good feedbacks from the other people. And the third question that you should ask is there a market? Is there a need? Are we talking about a million of people or 1,000? And the last one is, will people pay for it? It doesn't make sense if you cannot live on it. In the long run, you will not be happy and successful. And the overlapping part will be your perfect niche. So let's switch back. And the third step is to ask, or to have the absolutely clarity about, what are the most important tasks and the most important work that contribute to your goals and contribute to you. Because from nature, we are reactive rather than active. It's easier and it makes super sense because that helps us to survive. But if it comes to today, if we don't control and don't make choice, what is most important things and tasks, you will get lost in the daily business and firefighting mode. So the question that you should ask yourself is, what am I measured on? And what are the most important tasks that bring most value? That's about the first C, clarity.
So that was clarity from a personal perspective, self-leadership perspective. Let's bring it to our project teams and to our business teams. The first time when I really learned how clarity functions and why it's key to survive and get impact, to have strategic clarity, that was in army context. Here you see a picture from a commando force. I'm the guy in the center with the camouflaged face. And there I learned it by the hard way, that clarity, just like courage, collaboration, consequence, concentration, and combat spirit, decide if you survive or not in a quite radical and crass context. And years later, in champion companies like Amazon and many hidden champions and SDAX, MDAX, DAX companies in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, where I had the pleasure to consult them or to lead within, was the same factors. And it always started with strategic clarity. So Michelle said, Sun Tzu, the great philosopher and strategist from China, 2,500 years ago, said, know yourself, know your enemy. Well, we in Europe also have our philosophers and our great strategists. The Spartans said likewise, know yourself, know your scenario, know your honorable cause. And that's what clarity is all about. Practical nugget for you, for your team, for your organization. Ask yourself, what is the thing that's worth living for, that's worth working for? What's your big why? Well, that's absolutely not new, and the word purpose is totally overstretched. Anyway, it's important to know your why. It's important to know your what, your strategic objectives, and it's important your how, the key results, the approach, the tasks, the actions you take to get there. That's what the amateurs and the average heroes of our great business world know and do. Then they watch YouTube videos from management forethinkers where it's about the why, the what, and the how. And then they think they understood what clarity is about. I want to disrupt this tendency. And I claim that it's not enough to know your why, your what, and your how. What if we go out to our teams, to our clients, to our stakeholders, to our partners, and we clarify together, why are we there and why not? And consciously separate those two from each other. And suddenly we're able to say no to a lot of things. And that's true leadership. Not just say yes to everything that brings you forward, considering your purpose, but to say no to all the distractions, to all the waste, to all the BS tasks which come around and go around, which keep you away from your excellence journey. Why and why not? Same with what. Add extra value to your personal and team leadership by asking what not. Great tool to make that in practice or to practice that is with methods like Hoshin Kanri or balanced scorecard, or especially the OKR method that I love to apply with my teams, where you nail your bigger honorable cause down to 3 to 5 strategic objectives. Not to 10, not to 20, but to 3 to 5. And you say no consciously to everything else what you not want to put into your focus and into the center of your impact attention. And then same with the how you get things done. What's your modus operandi? And consciously asking yourself, ideally together with your team, which you enable and inspire in this process of sparring, to be aware of how you handle things and how not. And suddenly you start to think lean, you think like a leader, and you get into an agile mode where you even in practice figure out that the why and the why not, the what and the what not, and the how and how not can even evolve. Those things will, depending on your scenarios, depending on the context and on demands and needs from your stakeholders and clients, will evolve, grow, and even change. And awareness, strategic clarity is the beginning of everything. And it starts with those questions. How to bring that into the business world? Clarify your vision with why not? Clarify your mission, your objectives with what and what not? And get on best track to not just be aware of the how and how not, but also nourish your and your team's passion. Vision, mission, and passion is the new name of the game in digital times, where the vision and the mission alone without passion won't bring us the results that we secretly and obviously dream of. For me, it was not always a game of clarity. On my journey, I started into a chaos where I was not aware how key clarity is, and I was victim and affected by decisions that other people took for me. One example, when I was 5 years old, my parents decided we take the decision to divorce. And one of the stakeholders affected was me. And one of the tricks that I didn't consciously perform in those days was to look out for the right role models. And that's the extra nugget that I want to share with you when it's about clarity. Yes, go for vision, mission, passion, and add extra a conscious awareness of your role models from the past, from the now, from your personal context and so on. For me, it was my father, my grandfather, and my uncle. Here in the picture, you see myself with my grandfather in action. And those three inspired me, and by their mentoring between the lines gave me clarity. And when I look at myself now, I love to train and teach, love the academic context, inspired by my father to lead in this field. I'm in management and consulting, inspired by my uncle, who was a senior executive in an international company, where I learned a lot about how to influence people, how to win friends, how to run business, and so on. And especially from my grandfather, who gave me clarity about how important honor and loyalty and discipline is to maintain clarity and not have a short-term run. Let's have a look at the next C and get started with Michelle on courage.
So the next C, courage. We don't get what we wish, but what we think about all the time. The Bible code says, believe you will get. What we believe in becomes reality. So in a fight between two samurais, the one who is fearless and is ready to give everything and is ready even to die will win at the end. We all in a war, and even every day, and the strongest enemy is mostly ourselves. So we are famous for that, to standing on our own way. In the human history, there are so many brilliant, talented person, and they lose at the end because they stand on their own way. So the limitation is only in your head. If you don't beat yourself, nobody can beat you. If you don't set an end for yourself, and you will never reach the end. So it's all the inner fear and limitation and uncertainty that put us out of our game. So nothing is unimportable. And what happens in our mind or in our head has mostly nothing to do with the reality. Until 1954, it was considered impossible in the sports world that to run 1 mile under 4 minutes. Until one person, Roger Bannister, broken the record. And magically, after him, the record has been broken by many, many others. So the only limitation is the one that you set for yourself. I am Chinese, and I was born in China and grew up in China. With the age of middle 20, I decided to go to Germany without almost no German language knowledge. And the only sentence that I could say was, I don't speak German. At the beginning, it was really hard because I applied to many companies to get a job, but what I get was always no. My roommate has been working in a Mexican restaurant chain and has recommended me as a waitress. So I applied and I got a no. I applied to Burger King and I got a no. So at the end of endless no's and application, it seemed that I was unsuitable for any job. It seems impossible to have my feet holder ever in this country. But even in that situation, even I was living in a 7 square meter little room and have no idea how I should pay the rent for the next month. I didn't stop to believe in myself and didn't lose the courage to fight. It's always surprising if you talk to people and how much complaints and negative energy come across. At the end of the life, what we think about and what we regret the most are the things that we didn't dare to go through or even didn't start. So life is a courage test, and we have all no experience. And to have impact, you must have the courage to be alone, to be different, to follow your own way, and to go through things that everyone have already given up or even don't dare to start. That's the second C, courage.
Wow, how can I add something on those great insights? I can just strongly emphasize what Michelle just said. And we have here a quote from Frederick the Great, Frederick II, on the screen. He said, "Intelligence preserves, but only courage evolves." And in my personal opinion, there was no time in history where this quote was more true. We are, when you look at society itself, I think we never ever in history had such a high level of intelligence in average. And at the same time, we have the VUCA world, as always, with a higher pace and a higher speed. So it will not work to simply apply our intelligence and cleverness to maintain the status quo, to preserve. We need courage to evolve. We need courage to stop, to play, to not lose. Like much too much, or many, many companies all over the planet do, playing not to lose instead of playing to win again. Getting into their game, knowing the inner and outer game, and then striving for results by applying courage, by facing their fears also on the markets, and supporting their clients, their customers, their stakeholders, while they face their fears and their doubts and their challenges, and get them into a state of readiness based on courage. My personal formula for getting into courage mode is here displayed. It's WIN, it's win, to remind myself that it's about playing to win and not to not lose. And if you stay till the end of the speech today, I will even expand this quote a bit, and you will learn why it's worth to smile, to kiss, and to win. But win is the starter, because courage is based on what is necessary. And after you ask yourself this question, you get into your fear, you take uncomfortable action, and you consciously step out of your comfort zone. And what you'll discover is that learning moments will happen, especially when you don't do that alone, but you do that together with a well-selected crew, your team, your project crew, your private circle, well knowing that we are the 5 people with whom we spend the most time with. So select your crews and your teams and your partners in life and in business very well, and enable and inspire them to get into courage mode as well and ask themselves, what is necessary? And you can train that on a regular basis, just like a courage muscle. If you seek out opportunities of discomfort, always with your intention and your definition of impact in mind. That's why we started with clarity and the vision, mission, and passion. And then courage is the fuel, which gets you there. Example, I regularly in life and in business seek out opportunities to challenge myself in the sense of training my courage muscle. That's a private example where I still remember when I was standing on the cliff, shaky, even after I first jumped from the 2 meter, then from the 4 meter, stayed there for a while, practiced, jumped from the 6 meter, jumped from the 8 meter cliff, and then I I'm not used to that. That's quite tough already from the 8. That's fine for now. And then there are no coincidences, and destiny is always present. It was in Jamaica, in Negril, in Rick's Bar in January 2018. And when I finished my amateur courage mode at the 8 meter, observed and with great positive feedback from Michelle, suddenly I meet my boss there in those days. So Christian Fese, my boss in those days in consulting context, came around with his partner, and we were both very positively surprised that we meet each other there. And then you know how it is. We suddenly challenged each other, and then with the extra nugget and extra nudge, I stepped on the 10 meter 80, so it's around 11 meters, and then just jumped in with the intention to get out of my comfort zone, take uncomfortable action, and train my courage muscle. And what happened? Although I was supposed to know it from army times, getting the legs together, getting the knees together, getting the right pose, and then keep everything close together and get into the water without any damage, I kept my feet 1 or 2 centimeters apart, jumped down the 11 meters, and boom, at exactly the right spots, I got the extra trigger and a reminder of, hey, Flo, do your homework and prepare well before you get out of your comfort zone. And what I did was I get out of the water, step up again, run up those 11 meters again, and focus, smile, center, jump again. To end the whole scene with a positive memory of reference and directly taking the learning loop after I had this cross real life feedback from the water. And this is an analogy for all the uncomfortable states and actions that we take in our projects and business context and so on, because they are the same. First, we have to dare, but second, we have to be open-minded to learn and to adapt, to adjust, and to truly be agile in the real sense of the meaning, like I started in the intro today. So go out and dare to do it differently. Go out and dare to train your courage muscle. And by that, you not just pull this second C, you also lay the foundation to be a great example for your crew and your team, as long as you dare, always with a smart risk management and chance management, like we anyway do as smart professionals in every single one of our projects. So far to the second C on courage.
Next slide. So the third C, collaboration. One stick can be easily broken, but now 10 or even more. We are all social creatures, and of course we can grow and we can succeed alone, but in a group, or even better in a team, it can be rather faster and easier. So we will not be happy and in long run be successful if we are alone, especially if you want to create great things, you will need others. In the Western culture that we are all very proud individual and we emphasize individual needs, but to be successful, you need to learn to respect others and respect their interests and needs. So there is a very old Chinese saying, show me your friends and I can tell you who you are. If you next to red, you will turn red. If you next to black, you will turn black. That means the environment has a huge influence on us, and who you spend time with shows who you are, and at the same time determine who you will be and how far you can go. So if you have friends or boss or colleagues who constantly pull you down and laugh at your goals, your plans, and secretly even envy you and your progress, you should leave them immediately. You may not have the choice to choose your family, but you do have the choice to choose your friend and to choose the environment who you spend time with. Look around you. Do you have friends that you can only laugh with and celebrate with, or you can also talk about plans and future with them? Are they still physically in shape? Do they have over average discipline? Have they ever accomplished and built anything in their own life? Do you have negative or positive energy if you have been talking with them? Are they complain a lot? So those questions will help you. Unsuccessful people talk about people and problems, but successful people talk about ideas and future. So you need to choose your environment, choose your inner circle very, very carefully, and basically only choose friends who is at least one level ahead you, so you can learn a lot from them.
Collaboration is key. And today, all those 6 C's do not just count true for you, but for teams, for families, for circles, and even when you look at the value chain, for your suppliers, first, second, third tier, for your clients, first, second, third tier, and for everybody. Nowadays, we only survive when not just companies compete or teams compete, but when ecosystems compete, and their collaboration is the big factor. How do we design an excellent way of collaboration in those days? I personally got inspired by many best practice examples from all my years as consultant and before that in my leadership roles. One example is from Schindler, a great market-leading company from Switzerland, where I had the big pleasure to regularly travel to Lucerne and deliver projects on Lean and Six Sigma topics there. And at Schindler, they talk about collaboration. They even put the extra C into collaboration. And I love that, because collaboration is not about cappuccino culture and delaying decisions and extreme consensus. And we have to talk about that. We have to dance our name first and other BS. Collaboration is about action. It's about collaboration. And we get there when, for example, from digital leadership, we apply formulas like WOPA. WOPA stands for, if you want to successfully collaborate with your team, your clients, your stakeholders, make sure that 5 things are clear. We stands for, be virtually connected by tools like Teams, Zoom, and Miro and Meistertask, Monday.com, Trello, and so on, thousands of those tools that enhance how you play your virtual game to assure that you're virtually connected in a stable, productive, and efficient manner, impactful. O stands for maintain an open mind, especially when you collaborate in a hybrid mode or in a digital mode. Not just for yourself, but also establish a culture of innovation, culture of mistakes and errors, where it's okay to fail as long as you learn from that. At Amazon, in my time as Amazon leader, we always said, failures are treasures, problems are treasures, because we can learn and evolve from them, the whole team, as long as we define them, measure them, analyze them, implement the solution, and check if it works. And if so, we share it all over the network. Oh, P stands for foster participation, that everybody is involved, bringing in his or her strengths, his or her passions, and his or her backgrounds to really have an inclusive and quite heterogeneous setting where synergy is the name of the game. A stands for agility, being impactful out of the movement, out of the momentum, and plus was added later. Surprise, surprise. Plus stands for trust. Trust in yourself. trust in your team, trust in your company, trust in your clients and stakeholders. And trust evolves by living and establishing credibility, by fostering reliability, walking your talk, by living a life of empathy and integrity, and by ideally getting the ego out of the equation. Even James Bond got this lesson. I remember when I watched Casino Royale last time, not too long after an agile session where it was about how to evolve trust. And there's this pickup scene in the train when Mr. Bond drives to the poker competition and tries to pick up Eva Green. And there they are quite attracted to each other, and already the right vibes come up and rapport builds. And in the end, James fails, and the lady says, okay, James, you came quite far, but I suggest you keep your ego out of the equation. And that's especially true for leaders. And we all are leaders in our days, because we all are supposed to take ownership. Ideally, we all have a vision, a mission, and a passion, and we are involved in any form of team or crew where we together strive for results. And there, credibility, reliability, and empathy work. And even better when we take ego out of the equation. That's what's collaboration all about. And then we are able to create win-win-win results and solutions, and do what Henry Ford said in his quote, what you see on the screen. We practice collaboration, which determines our success in the long run. Michelle and I do that regularly with our strategic workshops and design thinking sessions. And I do that as COO at M2 Business Consulting in Munich, together with my team, where we bring this VUPA mode and this state of collaboration that you need to survive in digital times to our clients and our customers, and regularly evolve our models of collaboration in the process. And that's my message for you too. As fools with a tool are still fools. So not just take those acronyms and play after them, but take them, adapt them, and make your own habits and create your own routines together with your crew to be successful in collaboration mode.
Consequence, a very old universal law of cause and effect. You only reap what you sow. So your action or even inaction will have consequence. So don't believe in chance or luck. Chance and luck are only the result of hard working and preparation. So if you don't take action and don't do exercise regularly, you cannot expect to have a defined body. If you don't invest time and energy in training, in learning, you cannot expect promotion or even success in the end. That is so simple. But how can we break the pattern of negative consequences? Very simple, just to have a plan and see at least 3 steps ahead. If you want to reap result in 1 year, you must take action today.
As you see, we put emphasis on clarity, courage, and collaboration. As consequence is simple if the foundation is fine. Mike Tyson said, turn what you hate into something you love. And that's 100% applicable to consequence, because it starts with the mindset. And then it continues with the tool set, for example, PDCA. I think most of us know PDCA. We have to plan, to do, to check, and to act. But who really does that on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis? There, the mindset and the tool set come together, and discipline becomes the key again, to really plan, really do, really check, really act every day, every week, every month. And based on that, you create exactly the momentum, exactly the consequence that you need to bring the horsepower of your clarity, of your courage, and of your collaboration mode together with your crew onto the street. Then you are able to, even when you do this radically and crass, to deliver what others, average and good performers, do in 12 months, in 12 weeks. And there, methods like OKRs or like getting things done and other special tricks and special skills, super skills, come into play. Here's one example from my last holiday where I dive deep into this concept here. And actually at the company, at M2BC, we practice OKRs in this sense, and it actually works. That we have significant better results in shorter cycles by following a radical form of consequence, nourished by a positive spirit of collaboration and mixed with courage and clarity. That's it.
Concentration. Today, attention is constantly in short supply. Everyone want to have our attention, our family, partner, colleagues, our bosses, and even the sales guy in the advertising. So you must really decide very carefully who you spend time with and where you spend your time with tasks and works. So what are the most important tasks and works that contribute a lot to you and to your goals? Very simple tip that help a lot, just like to have dedicated time to handle your email and phone call. So only maximum 2 times a day, not every several minutes. And if you work, divide your time in blocks and like 30 minutes or 1 hour. And in those time, mute your phone and only concentrate at one thing and one task, and don't jump between one and another.
Speaking from a warrior perspective, quoting Bruce Lee, he said, "I don't fear a man who knows 1,000 kicks that he practiced once. I fear the man who practiced 1 kicks 1,000 times." And that's the message on concentration. From a consulting point of view, and from a management point of view, and from a leadership perspective, this principle of 1-1-1-1 that you see displayed here works. In my case, and when I look at the company, we focus on one target group. We solve one big problem for them. In our case, that's how to enhance the customer journey in digital times with one systematic approach, with one sophisticated delivery form, and we reach them over one prioritized path. This does not mean that we are totally blind for the scenario and the surrounding and for other opportunities. Anyway, this focus enables us to deliver excellent value and to lead our market and our game. And the feedbacks from the customers and the clients, but also from our partners and ecosystem stakeholders, and especially also from the employees, give us the clarity and the clear impression about the impact that we reach with this radical concentration and focus, because it simply works. The results and the feedback speak for themselves. And that's my suggestion for you. Practice focus, practice concentration, and ask yourself, what's the one thing that I do today that helps me to reach the impact that I aim for? Same for the week, same for the month, and then focus on those vital few success levers, prioritize, and say no to those distractions that don't pay into what's important or relevant and urgent for you. I learned a lot in martial artist context on that. I practice my martial artist forms every day, my black belt forms for at least 1 hour per day, to center myself, to be able to focus and to concentrate in this radical manner. And I suggest you find your routine to energize. Can be sport, can be reading, can be your hobby, can be anything, as long as it has at least an indirect meditative momentum. Yeah, and finally, after clarity, courage, collaboration, consequence, and concentration, it's all about combat spirit. Shakespeare said, boldness grows with opportunity. So get out into your projects, look out and seek out for business opportunities and for other chances that pay on your equation of impact, and then dare to grab them in an intelligent manner, as I said, with the right risk and chance management. Apply the OODA formula, which stands for observe, orient, then decide, and then act upon it with a bold combat spirit as an applied form of courage. And then you are on the path of being an impact warrior. And then you're able to not just be the impact warrior, but to strive for excellence on the journey by being effective, efficient, and elegant, enabling your team to do likewise and get excellent results as well, and reach your targets and fulfill your vision, your mission, and your passion. I said, when you listen till the end, I'll share the combat spirit formula that I trigger myself upon every day. And that's my final nugget that we see here. For me, that's smile, kiss, and win. Combat spirit for me means having a strategic perspective on life and on business, making my mission my passion every single day, get inspiration from the best, live life like a leader and see life as leadership by definition, and execute upon those things that drive my impact forward. Execution. SMILE. KISS, on the path, not keep it simple, stupid, but keep it simple and smart. As simple as possible and as smart as necessary. Specific, measurable, attractive, realistic, and time-framed. And win what is necessary as trigger to get into a bold action mode and to train your courage muscle. That's it. 6C to boost your impact. 6C to get into combat spirit mode in a healthy way. And 6C, that when you just pick one of those to get started with, will change your life and change your business. Now ask yourself, what's your commitment from 1 to 10 to get out of this annual members meeting? Grab one thing to focus on in 2022. And then think of courage as taking and executing decisions. What's your one decision? I can assure you, you are just one decision away from Impact Warrior Excellence. Thank you very much for your attention from my side. And now Michelle comes with the closing words.
So I hope we didn't give you too much information tonight, but if you get only one single tip with you, so tonight is worth your time, and you can apply every day with the one tip. So if you are interested, we are very happy to be connected with you. Just to scan the QR code and to connect with us at LinkedIn.
Thank you very much. All the best from us, best energy. And now I hope we still have a few minutes for some questions. And you forgive us that we always stretch the time for 3 or 4 minutes.
Hello, Florian. We have one question in our Q&A section, and it's coming from Bruno De Giusti too. His question is, and if one has little courage because of education, should one dies? I've always been skeptic of such approach because it only works if you had a good and strong reference as if you were a child. Would you like to rebut? It's more of a comment instead of a question.
If I get it right, it's about that education is the basis of courage. Did I get it right? Absolutely not. It's even a distractor. Courage comes from awareness. That's why we start with clarity, totally independent of of our foreknowledge, of our education, of our status, of our experience. In our days, we survive, actually, in my personal opinion, when we are agile, adaptable, and well aligned to our personal honorable cause that we strive for ourselves and or with our team. And their education can be even a harmful thing. I was many years in an overthinking mode because I come from an academic family, and maybe my brain was over-engineered with too many education elements. And when I started to go for clarity, there to focus on the vital few things and then go for it together with my team, then I got the impact and the results that I expected, and not by overwhelming myself with academic input and too much information. So in my opinion, impact and courage both are independent from your foreknowledge, as long as you have awareness of your vision, your mission, and your passion, and strive there in an agile, adaptable, and well-aligned mode. I hope this at least gives a slight perspective on the topic and answers the question, Bruno.
Thank you so much, Florian. That is all our questions for this evening. For the rest of the attendees, if you have further questions, you may join the virtual networking booth. Florian and Michelle will be there to answer your questions.
Thank you very much. See you there.
Thank you. See you.
Again, Florian, Michelle, many thanks for being our keynote speakers. I take this opportunity to thank you for this strong keynote that you presented. I definitely have a lot of key learnings and things that I would like to practice myself. I believe I can say on behalf of all the attendees that we are not only in awe of your knowledge, but also greatly impressed by your presenting style. It was very engaging. It was
Thank you very much, Pia.
It was a pleasure to listen to you, Florian, Michelle, your wise words, and I'm sure that we have all learned a lot from it.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Big thank you to you, and we see each other in the other room in a moment then.
Yes, see you later.
Thank you. It's our pleasure.
Thank you as well.
Also, big thank you to Florian and Michelle. It was very inspiring, and my takeaway from today is to keep it simple, smart and simple, or simple and smart. This is, I try to keep it simple sometimes, but I think smart is something that is maybe the better approach for myself. Thank you for this, and I hope to have the chance to work with you in the future again.
Same here, Stefan. Big thank you from us, and we very much look forward to it. All the best from here. On camera.
So we are at the end. I only have to say thank you to all the team. Thank you for all the attendees. And thank you for the feedback that you provide us in the survey that will pop up automatically when you close the Zoom session. In the after event mail, there will be the link also. And if you scan this code, you can also go to this survey. Please give us your feedback about the event so we know what we can improve next time. And we also can give the feedback to our speakers. Here you see also the members PDU claim code, but also we will send it to you in the summary in the mail. Thank you. Have a good evening and see you in a minute in the networking space. Goodbye.